Been a whirlwind day today. It's been a whirlwind couple of weeks, period. And celebrated my 35th birthday yesterday. To God be the glory for that. And I'm sitting in this parking lot getting ready to go home after a really, really eventful day. And I just started thinking about what's next? What do I have to do? What's the rest of my week look like? And it dawned on me that I would say probably, I guess it's almost 6 years now. 6 years ago, November 7th, I was leaving work, headed to the Young People's Conference at Greater Morning Star Apostolic Ministries in Largo. Shout out to the Mother Church. And I went from crossing the Woodrow Wilson Bridge to waking up in the back of an ambulance asking the question, how did I get here? And what happened was I had a seizure at the wheel, going 65 miles per hour on 95. Passed out at the wheel, rode a guardrail till a car came to a stop. Somehow I miraculously got out of the car, walked several steps, and then collapsed again on the shoulder on 95. So right where like the MGM exit is now, I was laying on the side of the highway. And when I finally came to, I was in the back of an ambulance going to MedStar Southern Maryland, trying to figure out what happened. And today, I'm sitting here thinking about how even despite all of that, God showed favor. He showed grace. He showed mercy. He sustained me when I was going through that weird phase of why me? Why am I going through this? Why is this pain this way? You know, why am I the one afflicted with this particular test? And then I look at where God, it's not me, where God decided to place me now, some 6 years later. And now I understand the why me. And everything that we endure and every test that we go through is preparation for where God is going to take you. So if you can't tolerate the test, you'll never tolerate the blessing that God has for you. You have to overcome because it's the only way for you to get to where it is that God has you in the first place. So every why me has an ending. Every why my plight, why this situation for me has an answer, but you have to go through it in order to understand it. I went from saying why me, how did I get here, to sitting in rooms, having conversations, being consulted on things, and asking the very same question, how did I get here? It's nothing but the grace of God. It's nothing but the mercies of God. If you can be humbled while you're in your dark season, if you can stay faithful when you are in your low place, if you can stay prayerful when you don't understand and it doesn't make sense to you, then God can trust you with the elevation because you'll know that you didn't do anything to deserve it, but stay faithful over a few things. I don't know how I got here, but now I do know how I got here actually. It's by the grace of God. So it doesn't really matter how tired I am or how annoyed certain situations can make me. I know that I went through enough hell that when God decides to write me those love notes to remind me of everything I prayed for, the ones I uttered, and most importantly, the ones I didn't utter, I can become that much more grateful for the place He's put me in. Because I don't deserve any of it. None of us do. We don't deserve anything. We don't merit anything that God blesses us with. So it becomes very, very easy to stay humble and stay on certain levels, because the best of us are nothing without the grace of God. Bishop Johnson says we're glorified mudballs without the grace of God. I encourage everybody who is going through a dark season, who is in a bad place, who's asking the very same question I asked myself November 7th, 2013. Why me? Why this plight? Why this situation? There's an answer to your question, but you have to go through. Just keep going through. There's a blessing on the other side of going through.